Hello everyone and welcome back. In this video, we're going to pivot a little bit away from creating routes and all that stuff and start talking about database indexing. Now, what is database indexing? Basically, it's whenever you grab a little piece of each document's data and put it somewhere else for faster retrieval. That's really what it is down at the core. It allows us to search through this much smaller subset of data in order to find where the location is of the full set of data. I like to think of it like an index in a textbook. For example, if you have this massive textbook with all this information in it, it'll take you a lot longer to read through the whole textbook looking for the single piece of information you need. That's why a lot of times textbooks will include indices or indexes, however you want to pronounce it, in the back that link you to the information. So for example, if you're looking for Adobe ebook reader, you might look for pages 148 to 153. Instead of having to read page 1, then read page 2, and read page 3 all the way up to pages 148. To finally find it, you just look back in the index and you just skim down a little bit and say, oh, there it is, and then it tells you where to go. It's the same type of thing in a database. So why do we care? Simple speed. That's really all it comes down to. Is if you index your database and you do it well, your queries will be much faster and you'll be able to handle a lot more queries at the same time, as opposed to if you do it poorly and you'll be slow and you'll have delay and you'll have poor user experience. Any queries that actually use the indices that we define will be much faster. By the way, you'll hear indices, which is the proper grammar, or indexes all the time. Nobody really cares. Use whichever one you like. Listen to your heart. By default, MongoDB already indexes the _ID field. That's why it's always best to find by the ID if at all possible, because it's already indexed, it's already done, so it's much faster that way. However, that said, we can add additional fields to be indexed if we so desire. There are some drawbacks to indexing. One of them, and probably the biggest one, is that the more fields that we index, the longer it takes to modify the collection, such as creating, editing, or deleting. The reason for this is pretty straightforward, because you're now having to write information, a lot of information, in multiple places. So whenever you create something or edit something, you have to modify the actual item, and then you have to go modify the index as well. So that's why that happens. It also takes up more space because now you're storing that information in multiple places. Generally speaking, you only want to index fields that you query often, if at all possible. Just keep that in mind. That's kind of an overarching thing. But creating and using indexes is the subject of a ton of discussion and expertise that is way, way beyond the scope of this course and the scope of my expertise. I am not a master database administrator. I get by. So I'm not going to try and tell you one way or the other the best way to do this, that, or the other. I'm just going to show you how it works, and I'm going to show you one way that you can do it, and then release you to go learn some more. If this speaks to you and you really enjoy it, go learn some more. But I'm not going to spend a ton of time on this. I just want to implement one feature that requires indexing. As always, if you have any questions, please let me know. I'll be happy to help. Thanks.